Hello, welcome to Moment of Truth. My name is Nadi Ashon, and of course, I have my co-host, David Jigbadi,
Hi, I'm David Buddy. Welcome to the show once again.
and my
Hi,
other co-host.
Lovina Bakers. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you so much. So today we are going to be talking about career and what really allow people to choose the career path they are in. Because sometimes you say, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that," but the question is, what motivates you to choose a career path that you are in, and some of the different career fields that we each represent, and what allow us to even be on the track that we are in. So I would let one of my co-hosts David Body start, and she will tell us a little bit about herself and what career field that she's in. So, David,
All right, thank you. Um, Also, viewers, you can tell us your career field in the comment section too. So, I'm a teacher by profession, and I love it because it gives me energy when I'm with my students. I don't feel tired. I have so much energy until I get home. I'm excited to be with them. It's like being with students is just invigorating. So that's why I'm a teacher. Thank you.
wonderful. So Lavina, how about you?
I'm also in the same field, trying to become a full-time teacher, but I enjoy it. I enjoy every bit of it. As she said, the kids gives us energy. It makes us feel very young and keeps us on our toes. So it's a great job. I love it.
Wow, that is awesome. So let's just say that I wanted to become a teacher, but when I was but when I was at a university, my instructor told me that teacher is like somebody selling something nobody wants to buy. And when I heard that, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So I changed my mind. So I'm not a teacher, I'm a nurse by profession. But it's always good to really find out the things that people want to do and what motivate them to choose a career path that they are in. So we have two teachers and we have a nurse. So let's first talk about the teacher. There are different type of teachers. So Davi, like what type of teacher are you and where did you start your education when you become a teacher? For you to become a
Oh,
teacher?
yeah. So I started back in Ghana. So remember there was a time when teachers were on strike. So after high school, you had to wait for 2 years to apply to go to college. So during that time, I was just at home chilling, right? And then my former headmistress, God bless her soul, she saw me at one of our women's ministry prayer meetings. And she was like, "Oh, you guys meet my former student." And then she asked me, "So what are you doing now?" I said, "I'm waiting to apply for the university." She said, "Okay, so while waiting, what are you doing?" I said, "Nothing, I'm home." She said, "What? By the time you go to school, you would have forgotten all the things you need to know." So she asked me, she had a school. She was the proprietress of a school. So she told me I should apply. And I thought it was just going to be easy, right? So I applied. Next thing, I was supposed to go for an interview. Next thing, I was supposed to write a test. Next thing, I was like, what? And there were a lot of people who had applied too. I finally got the job. I enjoyed it for the 2 years, almost 2 years that I was waiting because I had waited for some time. I got it. I did it. I loved it. It was a junior high school, and I had completed high school, so the age difference wasn't too much. So it was so much fun. And so then I went back to college, and I forgot all about teaching. I just saw it as one of those things you do along the way, right? So after college, I did my national service, and then there was a new headmaster, and he found out I had finished national service, and he wanted me to come back and teach again. I was like, I want to get bigger money. So I found other avenues, right? I even worked in a bank, two different banks actually, but I didn't love it. What I realized was I was depressed. I get home, I'm sick. They go to the hospital. They said there's nothing wrong with her. This, that, that. Then I realized it was because I was sitting behind the computer all day, like no human interaction. So fast forward, I decided to try the teaching again. And I went back and I was healthy again. I was back to myself. So I realized that that's where I was supposed to be. So I finally applied to government school and was located to Keta. That's where I went to teach finally in junior high school. So I taught math, science, and English language. And then later, I found myself here. Ta-da! And later, I'll tell you how I was able to transfer all those credits from Ghana and get myself started here as a teacher again.
Thank you so much, Davi. So Lavina, how about you? As a teacher, where did you started and what are some of the challenges that you experienced?
All right. So I also started mine back home. After high school, I went to IMS to do marketing and sales. I wasn't taking lessons serious, so my mom moved me. My mom was then in Cape Coast, so I had to move there and rewrite, remedials. So I did it, and I got myself into University of Cape Coast. I heard that school is so hard. So when I was going, I was scared. Trust me. Any grade that I get, I appreciate it. But I realized I could do more. And before I even did that, I didn't want to do education. So what I was applying for, I really wanted to do social science. And excuse me, I didn't get into social science. So they said, oh, you could do social science in education. And when you do that, you have 2 certificates. You still have your social science and you still have education. So if matters comes to worse, you can work with education. So I'm like, okay, killing one bird with 2 stones. So, I mean, it wasn't anything. Yeah. So I decided to do that course. So I did it. So I did geography and economics. So I did my education as she said, in the college. And when I had to do my national service, teacher, how do you call this? Teaching practice. I felt so much in love with it. I also did it in a high school. And I was like happy the way I could handle the class and everything. So I went home, I told my dad that really I want to become a teacher. So when I saw their lives and I had some conversations with the teachers, that it really discouraged me. So when I had to do my national service, as David did, I diverted. I went to VRA. I heard they had a lot of money. They were paid a lot of money. So I went to do my national service there. I was trying to get employed there, but it didn't work out. So I also went to chill a little bit in Accra. Then I needed to find a job. I ended up coming back to the teaching, becoming a classroom teacher in a primary school in BA. So I started teaching there. I first taught, I think, 5th grade, which we call P5. Then I taught 3rd grade as well. And I also taught the kindergarten too as well. So that is how my teaching started. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it. There was a lot of sacrifices done there. But when you do it, as David said, you become very fulfilled, especially when you know that you've been able to impact on another person's life. That is how it started back in Ghana. So I'll also tell you, I'll hold that and tell you later how I started here.
Wow, that is awesome. So for me, I'm in the healthcare field. What promoted me to go to the healthcare field was my grandfather. When I was a young child, my grandfather was diagnosed with stroke, and this was 40 years ago. They didn't have physical therapy. There was nothing. When you are diagnosed with stroke, they always said, "Oh, the person is going to die." So I saw my grandfather who was very strong, literally deteriorates, slowly. He lived for over 10 years, but the quality of health that he could have got, the quality of life that he could have got, he didn't get it. So I promised myself that I'll go to the healthcare field because I want to help. I don't want anybody to have to lose a family member through something that can be prevented or also something that can be assisted or helped. So when my dad was here already, so I came here. And when I came here, when I went to college, that's what I wanted to do was nursing. My dad wanted me to become a doctor, but I'm like, I don't want to be a doctor. I really want to be with the patient. I feel like doctors write the medicine, they write the diagnosis, and then the nurses are the one that take care of the patient. So for me, my calling was patient care. I really want to be bedside nurse. I want to be the one that the patient talk to. I want to be the one that assists the patient to feel better. So I think, it's always good to know what is your passion. If your passion is to teach, definitely teaching, but if it's to help, that was my passion. I really wanted to help people. And I feel like nursing is a calling that you really get to help people. It's a challenging field, but it's a calling. So you have to really realize where your heart is. So let's talk about education. We talk about our passion, our heart. Let's talk about education. Davi, what education do you need to become a teacher in your field?
All right, thank you. And talking about you wanting to help, I see that in every way. Like you help in everything. It's not just nursing.
I wanted to chip in on that also.
Right. Everybody
Yeah,
can see whether it's wedding planning or party planning, or you're helping everywhere. So God bless you.
Yes, I also wanted to chip in on that because my headmistress keep telling me that, hey, Akuya, by the end of the month, you lose all your money because I was buying way down to underwear for my students. That was how much I was, helping also. I was carrying kids on my back to the hospitals because nobody would touch them. And I saw this kid running temperature like, something could happen. I had to do that. And guess what? The next day, the kid came back and the mom asked her to come and ask me for her pencil that I needed to give it back to her. You understand? That kid that was dying, that I saved, the mom told her to come back and ask me. So there are a lot of sacrifices there too as well in our field too. Yeah, that was what I wanted to add.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, my background is science. So actually, I was supposed to do medicine. But after internship in Ashimota Hospital, eye clinic, I knew I didn't want to be near a hospital ever. So even though I have a science background, when I finished and I wanted to teach, back home in Ghana, you just need a degree to be able to teach. You don't need, and even then, when I was teaching in Ghana, those of us who had degrees, we were paid more than those who went to the teacher training colleges. Right. Because if you had a teacher training diploma or something, it is called, I don't know, the degree still paid more. So I have a degree in science, but I diverted to environmental science since I knew I wouldn't do hospital stuff. So I did natural resources management, and I went to fisheries. So with a science background, I was teaching science and math. And I also had to teach reading, English language reading at some point. So when I relocated here, I wanted to still do middle school, which is JSS. So Ghana was doing JSS. So over here, I wanted to do middle school. And so with a foreign degree, when you come here and you have a foreign degree, the advice I'll give is for you to first apply to be an intern somewhere or to be a teacher's aide, also called a paraprofessional. That way you have first-hand experience with what's going on in the class. And that's what I did. And then I realized that although I had so much content knowledge to teach math and science here, because when I came, math and science was the thing. If you're teaching math and science, there were so many incentives. But I decided, no, I'm going to kindergarten because I tried both. And I realized that with my personality, I like things being a particular way. So at that time, I realized that the middle school students, they had too much going on with them. And so if I want to teach them math and science. I have to get all of those things under control first before the math and science goes through. And that was just too much. I wanted to do more of the teaching than the behavior. So it was too much personality going on. And at that time, I was doing internship both for middle school and elementary school. So I realized that no, these ones, let me put them aside. I enjoyed this one better, the younger kids better. They are innocent. They're not trying to pull your strings. They're not trying to do anything. They're just trying to be themselves. And so I enjoyed that better. But I still did club, like did Girls on the Run club, where we still did a little bit of math, science, and also being active. So that being said, it's good you do some kind of internship. And then we do have, so when you are applying as an intern, it's much, much, much easier. Paraprofessional, I didn't start as a paraprofessional. I started as an intern, and then I diverted to, I moved on. So the position I applied for said they needed an intern. They wanted to study the intern for 3 months. And then if the intern is interested and they are interested, they will take you on as a paraprofessional. So that's what I did. So I moved from intern to paraprofessional. Now, around that time too, when I came, while doing all this, I enrolled in my master's program because I had read and I know that to be a teacher, a highly qualified teacher right here, you have to have your master's degree. So I was in my master's program, this time education, not science again. This time I was in education. So with that, it was easy for me to just alongside be studying for practice 1 and 2. Why do I need a practice 1 and 2? So to be a teacher here, you need a teaching license to be employed as a teacher. That is the standard, but some people are able to go around it. But at the end, you need to have a teacher's license. And to get a teacher's license, you need to write what is called the practice 1 and 2. Practice 1 is actually math, reading, science, general knowledge. Then practice 2 is more of pedagogy. So what it's more of the psychology of teaching and how to set up the classroom and what to do if this happens and what to do if that happens. You know, that's more of, so the practice 1 is more of content, which you easily get. Practice 2 is more of, let me just say, the psychology and the culture. So that's a bit more difficult. But if you are interning in a classroom already, you are in that environment already, you pick those things up easily so that when you're writing your practice 2, it's easy. So after you write practice 1 and 2, you then apply for the teacher's license. And then when you get it and you apply as a teacher, it's easy. But to apply as a teacher, if you have a foreign degree, you need to have it evaluated. So that's also in the process. That's why while doing all of this, it's good to be interning somewhere, working somewhere, getting the experience. Because if you're going to interview for the teacher position, the questions are mainly for experience, trying to see if you will be able to handle a classroom by yourself. Because with the content, I mean, everything proves that you have the content. If you've gone all the way, you have a degree, you have masters. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you will not have that. But it's the interview is more geared towards you knowing what to do in different situations, even knowing how to set up a classroom, the American standard. So you need your academic credentials evaluated, and that's a big trap. If you do not know that, you'll be applying to so many schools and you'll not be getting replies. You'll not be called back after your interview and you'll never know why. Because normally they don't tell you. That it was only one time that somebody told me, but that was after I had found out from my school, my master's program, that I needed to get it evaluated. So people get frustrated because they apply so much and nobody calls them. The reason nobody calls them is because they have a foreign degree and the people cannot really interpret what it is you have. So you need to have an American company interpret that degree so that when you take it now, they know one is genuine and two, they can understand what's on the paper. So you need to do that. You need to take your Praxis 1 and 2, and then you can apply for the teaching license. And then when you apply for the teacher position, you have everything in place. Now, that is the standard. If you grew up here in the United States, it might be a little different for you. Why? Because they have something they call the principal's choice. So let's say, just like I told you, someone in Ghana told me to apply. Same thing happens here. So the principal, after doing an interview for you, can decide, okay, this is a good candidate. So I'm going to take you on, although you don't have everything set. I'm going to take you on and I'm going to give you, and in DC, they give you 2 years to get everything, including your teaching license. You write your Praxis and everything. So those 2 years, you still do, we have class evaluations that we do. You still do that. But then this principal is giving you, and it's on their honor. So if you do not get what you're supposed to get, it goes against the principal. That's why it's called principal's choice. So they don't normally do that unless they really know, maybe they taught a particular student and they know this is an A student and they're just trying to help you get started. They really know you have the ability to do it, because they don't want to give that 2 years and then after that it goes against them, because they have just a number of chances that they can give out as a principal. So it's their choice to take you on. And within 2 years, that's for DC. If you don't get your teaching license and everything, you are terminated. And then you can get everything and reapply. So no principal wants to take somebody on who will be terminated. If they are sure you are in the process, you are almost there, you can prove to them that, oh, you've taken maybe Praxis 1 and you've passed, and now you're taking Praxis 2, and they are sure things are in place, they may give you that chance. However, your salary doesn't change to the, you don't get everything until your license and everything is in place. So far, let me end over there and I'll come back.
Thank you so much, Davi.
You're welcome.
So, Lovelina, how about you? What was your education pathway to get to where you are right now?
Well, mine, when I came here, we moved to Indiana. So I saw this educational fair that I went to. They evaluated my, I didn't go through that evaluation. I did that evaluation too, Davi, as you said. I did it. And sometimes a lot of people, let me just chip this in. A lot of people make mistakes by when they ask their old school from Ghana to send them the transcript, they open it up. If you open it up, it won't be valid. So as it comes with the seal from your school back home, please mail that to whatever company that you're using to evaluate your transcript. Do not open, leave it sealed so that they will see the authenticity of your how do you put it, your transcript.
Oh, your transcript, yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Good thing. So thank you for chipping that in. Right. Even if it comes to you and you post it again, they don't accept it. It has to come all the way from Ghana straight to them.
Straight to them. So that is one thing. Even when I started my master's here, that was what happened. We had to mail it directly from them, and I had to do the same thing. So as I was saying, when I went to the job fair, they evaluated me and they said they were going to do what Davi was saying, that they'll give me time because they needed teachers. And it was far from where we were living then. And my daughter was very, very young. We just moved. She was about 6 months. And I didn't know anybody in Indiana. So I wasn't comfortable leaving her anywhere. So I let go. So same in Indiana, I was at home because I still didn't have the help. So I started with the daycare. it was close to us, so I enrolled my daughter there so we could go together. It wasn't easy working in a daycare. It wasn't easy at all. I will be frank. It was very tiring, a lot of work, working around the kids. We love the little ones, trust me. As David said, we do love them, but working in a daycare with bachelors, it's not worth it. They don't pay anything and you have to do so much. So when we moved to Maryland, I started something like before and after care. So when I started before and after care, trust me, I've done everything in education. I don't know why I kept saying this, that I always find myself there. I don't know, it's just because of my daughter, somebody to, because that was the only thing that was working for me. So I started after care and I did before care. I did before care, after care, lunch and recess monitor. I did that as well. So I was getting closer. So somebody was like, hey, you know what, you have bachelors, you can start subbing. So I started as a substitute. I will, there are a lot of teachers that are calling out. So for subbing, you can have job every single day. And as David said, it was hard for me because I heard so many things about the behavior part of the kids and how we could control the class back home. But here you don't have much. I'm not saying you cannot control them, but there's the difference between our style of control and their style of control. You understand? They can express themselves, they can challenge, they have every right to talk back and defend themselves. But back home, when the teacher say keep quiet, it means keep quiet. So when I was looking at all these things, I was set aback. I was like, I wasn't so sure. So I started subbing and I got a long-term subbing in a school. Then I said I would do what David said, a para educator. So I started with that. And I started that one as well. And that one also, you get evaluated as teachers at the end of the year. They will sit you down with a principal and they will ask you, and you talk about some of the things that you did and some of the things that you need to improve. So I was doing all this and with the sub, and I get to go to the classrooms and know how the classroom is set up. So Davi, I'm very grateful you brought all these things up because it's really helpful to me. I was going to see you in Chambers, but you've opened the thing up for me, but I'll still see you in Chambers. So yeah, so after last week's talk, I'm like, you know what? We talked about things and we always talk about things, and I diverted with my master's. I did something different from it because I wanted to divert to health. So I started with that also, and I have 9 credits to finish, which has taken me. I don't want my sister to talk about it. Yeah. So yeah, so that is one thing. But now that I know, and people are encouraging me, and I have Daddy here for her support, I am also intending to do the praxis and all that. So yeah, to get myself there, because I have acquired a lot from getting myself in there and knowing how things are run there and knowing how to deal with the structure, the behavior, and where I think I'll fit better. Because I even went to educational fair with PG, and they asked me to do, I think, praxis 1 and something else. But you come back and you hear all the negatives. You talk to people and hey, don't do it. Teaching here is not, you hear all that. And they, looking at my transcript, they wanted to take me to middle school. And I knew I couldn't do middle school. I sat there, trust me. I came back having anxiety. Anytime that I'm going there, I'm anxious. I don't know, because and I didn't know what to put into trouble. I didn't know that you have the opportunity to say something to the kids, because it was the beginning of my journey. into like the real teaching thing. So it was hard for me, but with this working experience, now I know how to channel myself, where I should go. And with the help of my sister here, I know that a year by this time, I will be, will be on the
Amen.
right
Amen.
path. Yeah. Yeah. So that is how I
Yes,
Amen.
am.
indeed. Yes.
Okay. So this is moment of truth, and we are talking about career, like what motivates us in our career path. So for me, let me talk a little bit about my healthcare or my nursing career. So I started my degree in nursing, and going to nursing school here is very challenging. You go there and you think you are good, and then you meet professors that just doesn't get along with you. I met a professor who just did not get along with me at all, and so I didn't graduated the time I was supposed to graduate. That was very challenging, but I knew that I wanted to be in the healthcare field. So even though I spent many years with a degree that I working on that degree, I didn't graduate. I still wanted to do healthcare. So fast forward, I ended up joining the military. So the military trained me to be a licensed practical nurse. So I did the military for over 20 years, retired from the military. But when it was time again I still wanted to be in the healthcare field. So I ended up doing my degree in health policy and then doing my master's in health policy and administration. So working in the healthcare field is diverse. I started as a CNA, I did LPN. From LPN, you can go to RN, you can do bachelor RN, associate RN, you can do nurse practitioner. So there's a different route that you can take when it comes to the healthcare field. But what is important is what is it that you wanted to do? After 20 years of nursing, I now know I wanted to do policy. So getting my master's in health administration policy and now working for Department of Health and Human Services is something that I knew I wanted to do. So nursing is not just bedside nursing as initially I wanted to do. Now I could do something different. But it is all about patient care. It's all about patient education. It's all about taking care of the public. So if you are interested in taking care of the public, you can do it in nursing, you can do it in public health, you can do it in different area, but it's taking care of the public as a whole that really makes a huge difference. And I think that is very important. So, our time is going, but I really want us to just talk about quickly if there's anything that you want to, especially starting with you, Dav, if there's one thing that you want our audience to know about teaching, what is it that you want our audience, anybody that is listening to us right now, what is it that you really want a takeaway point when it comes to teaching?
That if you are into the teaching field, you are actually molding lives, and you are our students are very impressionable. No matter how much they want to pretend, they don't see what you're doing or saying, especially with middle school. They're trying to pretend all of these things are not going on. They pretend they can't hear you and all of that. Believe me, trust me, they are very impressionable. And so if you want to go into the teaching field, it should be because you really, really love teaching, because whatever you do is going to affect somebody's life for the rest of their lives. What you say, how you say it. So if it's not something that you really want to do, and that is why with teaching, really, if somebody doesn't want to do it, you don't normally see them there, because the pay is not that much. It is the excitement that brings you in. So if you are somebody who just loves children and you love to make an impact, then this is where you should be. For example, some of my students from middle school have graduated from college. I have a doctor, I have a nurse, I have 3 bankers. It's just exciting to see all of this. And imagine if you did not have a good relationship with your students. And it's a humbling experience. Like every day you learn new things. So you're teaching, you're also learning. And the energy they bring, the love they bring makes your whole world sparkle. So if it is something that you always wanted to do, don't worry about the money. They say God will bless you, which is true, okay? Yeah, just come in and do what you're called to do, because when you're affecting lives, there's a special grace that God gives you, whether you're affecting lives as a nurse, as a teacher, in whatever way. But if you want to teach, come on and teach. You will love it. Just know that every minute of the day, whatever you're doing is impacting a younger life, and you want to be careful, knowing that you want to pour in what is positive. Okay, you are the only positive person that somebody sees the whole day. Some students, when they go home, their home life is terrible. Their home is not somewhere they want to be. So you want to make sure that when they come to school, they feel the love, they feel that they matter. So if that's what you want to do, please come. We need more teachers like you.
Thank you so much. Lavina, please.
Right. So as Davi said, teaching it's also a calling, because as she already mentioned, you are molding lives. Sometimes you might not see what you're doing until you see some becoming doctors and bankers and all that. And one thing that I really want us to emphasize is that do not be afraid to tell the kid the truth, not negatively, but positively. Let them hate you if you're doing the right thing. It's good we build relationship, but the fact that we are out there, that's one thing that I've learned from them as well. As we are building relationships with them, we should also make sure that we should also let them know the truth and the reason why they are there. Okay, so that they will know and remember you one day. I keep telling them, one day a kid told me that Miss L, she just like started, I hate you. I'm like, the other teacher said me, I'm like, oh, I love myself. I know you love me one day. And I understand that, sometimes they get frustrated with the things that are going on around them. And they feel that you will also allow them to engage in one or two games and all that. But if you become the person that really want to keep them on task, they might think that, oh, you are too hard and you don't like them and all that. You love them as you love your kid and help them also. And when they grow up, they'll remember you, even if they don't see you. They'll one day mention you to maybe a friend or a relative, like, oh, I remember when I was in school, I had this person who was always getting on my nerves, but now I understand why that the person was doing that. So we need, as she said, we need a lot of teachers. Please don't get overwhelmed with the things that you see around. There are still rules at schools. There are still rules. There are still consequences. So it's not that bad as they portray. It's not that bad. There are rules. Okay, so come on board. We'll be all happy to work with all of you. Don't get scared. Don't get intimidated by the little ones we see around us. Though they are sweet, you love them. Trust me, you will love them.
Thank you so much, Lavina. So this is Moment of Truth, and we have been talking about, our career path. So for me, what I would like our audience to know is that when it comes to healthcare, there's so many different types of career path in healthcare. But when it comes to nursing, I think our community, we start as CNA or MedTech and all those things, and we stay in that area. And I tell people all this. I said the difference between a MedTech and an LPN is education. You can be a MedTech for 10 years, and somebody went to 1 year of an LPN at school, and they'll get paid more. So your experience does not equate money. A CNA can be a CNA for 10 years. An LPN will come with 1 year of education and they get paid more. An RN with associate will get paid more than LPN. An RN with a bachelor degree will get paid more than RN with associate. Somebody with a master's will get paid more than somebody with a bachelor. So education, education, education. As we have the teachers here. We know the value of education. So even if you start as a CNA, I will encourage you to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to strive to do more. challenge yourself to want to do more. No double, not, the double work is fine, but if you want to get the money, you may want to go to school. If you want to get more out of what you are putting out, you may want to get education with a certification that will help you to advance in your career path. So I will encourage our viewers, please, 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 whatever career that you are in, we encourage you to advance. Don't stay, where you are. Challenge yourself to do more, so that way you see the benefit, and also you reap the reward of all your hard work. Because that's what it's all about. It's about motivating yourself to do more and challenging yourself to be better. So thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you.
So
One last
go
thing.
ahead.
So in case you're thinking you have a foreign degree and you're wondering how you can get it evaluated, when you come back to this show, you can look over here, or you can just Google foreign credential evaluation services, or National Association of Credential Evaluation Services. And there are so many of them, and they will tell you how to apply for it. And they will give you a code, just like when you go to write an exam, you have examination number or whatever they call it. I've forgotten what it's called. You get that so that you send that back home, and then, or wherever you're coming from. And then when your transcript is coming to them, that code is on the envelope because you would have already applied. And that's how it goes. Please don't let them send it to you. Mine, I had to get it 3 times. If they send it to you and then even you don't open it and you post it, once they see the American postal stamp on it, they'll send it back to you. All right, so that's all I wanted to add. Over to you, Miss Lovina.
Yes, and Davi, my question is, how good is an evaluated transcript? Maybe if you can let our viewers know.
It's everything. It's everything. I applied to so many places while I was doing my master's program, and was even a para in a different school. But I applied to all these other government schools in DC and PG, and I didn't get any. Nobody called me back. And I was wondering what the problem was. When I finally found out, it was because they couldn't interpret the foreign whatever I was showing them. I went ahead to do the evaluation. But can you imagine, one of the interviews I had attended a year earlier, not knowing they still didn't have anybody for that position. So a year later, that principal then sent me an email and also called. And she told me that she would like to employ me, but I need to get my staff evaluated. And I told her, oh, if I had known earlier, but I already have a new school now. So usually they don't tell you. They should, but they don't, because they are hoping someone will come that has everything set. So that might be, if you're writing, you are going for interviews and nobody's calling you back, that could be why. They can't interpret what you have. They don't know if it is fraudulent or it is genuine or whatever. So you might want to evaluate your transcripts.
Yeah, my question was,
go ahead,
Ms. Lovina.
Okay, so my question was, how long is evaluated transcript good?
Oh, how long is it good?
Yeah.
It is good until you're looking for another job. So when I had my previous school in DC, I used that evaluated transcripts for my teaching license. So I used the teaching license to apply for the job, and that was it. But when I moved to PG and I applied again, they wanted me to send them my evaluated transcripts along with my license. So I already had one that I had not opened. And it's been like 10 years, but I haven't opened that one. I just added it to my teaching license and it went through. So as long as you haven't opened the envelope, it is good to go. But if you've opened it, you can always reapply for a new one. You just pay a minimum fee and they'll send you a new one. Yeah.
Okay. So that was my question. I know it's not free. So thank you so much. Okay. So today we'll end our program, but we'll definitely continue next week with our guests as we continue talking about career and what makes people choose the career path that they are in. So Davi, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much for hanging in with us. Please send us your questions and your comments. If there is any other career path that you are thinking about that we haven't talked about, we can still bring somebody in to talk about that career path. So good information is all you need. In life, if you don't have good information, you'll be in the dark. But if you have good information, that's like light, right? So please let us know how useful this has been to you. If there is any questions, we will be willing to help you get the answers if you don't have the answers. If there are other fields that you want to know about, please let us know. Thank you for hanging in with us. We want to thank Ashon Collections for partnering with us and helping us come on air. Ashon Connections, you can get in touch with them by this number, +233 243 548 925. Also, we have Delatech IT. Delatech IT has trained a lot of people, and they help you get a job and then you pay them for the training. Isn't that a good thing? So it's kind of like a charity, but you pay after you get your job so that somebody else can also get trained, okay? Their number is 443-764-1106. We also have Comfort Realty. They help you get into the home of your choice, your dream house. They can do that. Then we have El Shaddai International Market. They are at I'm looking at the number. Oh yeah, it's up here. 2620 Annapolis Road, 7, Maryland. It's in the shopping mall, shopping center, it's called. Thanks also to all our friends and partners for helping Adonai Radio and Moment of Truth. Thanks to Elder Esrifi and the technical team for helping us look good on air. And thanks to my fellow co-hosts, looking lovely as usual. God bless you for all you do. Viewers, we love you. Remember to share, like, subscribe, and also send us your views. We will also send you our call-in number next time so that you can call in while the program is ongoing. Back to you, Ms. Ashon.
Yes, we also want to thank our national head, Apostle Amwako, our regional head, Pastor Johnny Kudoff, and of course, Mrs. Florence. We also want to thank all the Pentecostal people around. We had a wonderful Mother's Day week. And of course, if you're part of Church of Pentecost, remember Internal Mission is coming up. So be ready to be part of it. And we also want to say big shout out to all the May people whose birthdays say May. Yay! We are special. So until next week, thank you to all my co-hosts and everybody. Until next week, bye.
So I see why you remember May. Guess what? Our host, Miss Alberta's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. And your birthday was a couple of days ago, so happy birthday to you.
Yeah, it was Mother's Day.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for hanging in with us. Bye for now.